Basically, we'll talk about carbon dioxide as one of the greenhouse gases emitted into the atmosphere that cause the greenhouse effect as global warming or climatic change. So basically, we'll talk about the sources in which carbon dioxide is being formed. So how do we get this natural gas called carbon dioxide? You see, basically, there are sources in which carbon dioxide is being formed. One of the sources is called the fossil fuel, from the hydrocarbon. So another source is deforestation from the clearing of the plants for commercial reasons of urbanization. Equally, from the decomposed organisms that have been the remains of the organisms that have died, they release oxygen, they release carbon dioxide, a whole lot of substances are released from the remains of decomposed organisms. So another is from the soil, another sources, from reactions of chemical substances in the atmosphere. So basically, we will emphasize carbon dioxide that is formed through what do you call it, hydrocarbons. So basically, hydrocarbons are formed from organic matter that are buried under layers of sediments and subjected to heat and pressure over millions of years. The process of hydrocarbon formation involves biological activities. Organic matter like plants and animals remains is converted into kerogens, and these kerogens the first stage of hydrocarbon formation. So what I mean is that these organisms that are died for millions of years are formed in a shell of the soil. You see, so they form in the shell of the soil and they are found in the layers of the rock, like the sedimentary rock, the igneous rock, the salt rock, a whole lot of rocks. So these organisms are organisms that have died, especially the marine organisms that have died for millions of years. There's a whole lot of processes in which this hydrocarbon is formed in the soil because of the chemical processes in the soil, the biological activities that take place in the soil, and you see, and it's formed based on the layers of soil, and they undergo, a whole lot of degradation, and the remains of these organic organisms, organic matter like the plants and the animals that died over years decompose and undergo a whole lot of chemical processes, biological processes, where they decompose and form hydrocarbon and the strata, and the hydrocarbon is formed in different stages, and some of the stages are called thermal degradation, So the kerosene is broken down into hydrocarbon chains through a process called the catalysis. The catalysis is the process in which the kerosene is broken down into hydrocarbon chains through a process called the catalysis. So, and another process is called the cracking of the process. And heavy hydrocarbon molecules are broken up into lighter molecules, broken down into lighter molecules. So this is called cracking. In the process, they have another one is called the migration. The hydrocarbon moves from source rock to permeable carriers bed and then to reservoir beds. So these are processes in which hydrocarbon is being formed. There are another process in which hydrocarbon is being formed, which I don't want to mention. I will only emphasize on this. So that we will go to carbon dioxide as one of the greenhouse gases that are formed through the hydrocarbon. So basically, carbon dioxide is formed through hydrocarbon combustion, referred to the chemical reaction where hydrocarbon reacts with oxygen to create carbon dioxide, water, and heat. Hydrocarbon are molecules consisting of both hydrogen and carbon. They are mostly famous for being the primary constituent of fossil fuel. namely natural gas, petroleum, and coal. For this reason, fossil fuel resources are often referred to hydrocarbon resources. So energy is obtained from combustion in the primary process in the burning of fossil fuel. Any example of hydrocarbon combustion, I can equally illustrate a good example of hydrocarbon combustion. Maybe you did not understand it properly, so let me keep my camera properly so that I can illustrate, I can focus the camera, you understand me properly. So methane is combined, that is the molecules of, combined with two molecules of oxygen to form carbon dioxide, water, and heat. So this combustion is called, this combination of chemicals, of substances, of elements, of bonds is called combustion. Obviously, methane combined with two molecules of oxygen to form carbon dioxide, water, and heat. That is combustion. Regardless of the type of hydrocarbon, so rightly pointed out, methane combining with two molecules of oxygen to form carbon dioxide, water, and heat is combustion. Regardless of the type of hydrocarbon, combustion with oxygen produces three products: carbon dioxide, water, and heat. So the energy required to break the bonds in the hydrocarbon molecules is substantially less than the energy released in the formation of the bonds in CO2 and water. That's carbon dioxide and water, CO2 and H2O molecules. For this reason, the process releases significant amount of thermal energy. So that is heat. The thermal energy can be used directly at home, or it can be converted to mechanical energy using a heat engine. However, the subject is subjected to efficiency losses, resulting to necessary significant energy losses as waste heat, governed by the second law of thermodynamics. So we're not going to discuss the engineering part of these conversions of thermal energy to mechanical energy, how it is being equally converted back, and a whole lot of processes and all that. We're going to concentrate on greenhouse gases, which I've mentioned earlier, which is the carbon dioxide, the CO2. That's the chemical formula of carbon dioxide. So as the name implies, carbon dioxide by definition is a colorless gas having a faint sharp odor and a sour taste. It is one of the most important greenhouse gases linked to global warming, but it is minor components on Earth's atmosphere, about 3 volumes in 10,000 formed in combustion of carbon-containing materials. Some sources in which carbon dioxide is being formed is through the process of fermentation and respiration in animals. And the green plant uses carbon dioxide for the photosynthesis of carbohydrates. So carbon dioxide is formed not only through the fossil fuel, not through only the hydrocarbon, it's formed through the other processes, other sources. So the presence of this gas in the atmosphere keep some of the radiant energy received by the Earth from being returned back to the space. So what I mean, the energy received from the sun is being trapped by carbon dioxide, and it is being emitted to the earth, and when by heat it returns back to the atmosphere, and it redirects it back to the earth. So carbon dioxide redirects the energy received. What I mean by infrared that is being received by carbon dioxide from the surface of the earth is being redirected back to the surface of the air like a cyclic movement. It does not retain it in the atmosphere. Majorly, it returns it back, the energy, the infrared radiation that it received from the atmosphere by carbon dioxide is being radiated back to the atmosphere, thereby causing global warming. So the energy, as I earlier said, either the infrared radiation or the radiant energy received by the Earth from being returned to space. It doesn't allow it from being returned back to space. It returns it back to the atmosphere, to the Earth's surface, thereby causing global warming. I'm emphasizing this so that we understand what we mean by global warming. I'll repeat it again and again and again. I said carbon dioxide, when the energy, the infrared radiation hits the surface of the earth, penetrates into the surface of the earth, and is being returned back to the atmosphere, the carbon dioxide absorbs this energy, the radiant energy, the infrared, the sun energy, the sunlight, that the ultraviolet rays of the light, it received it and equally returned back this radiant energy back to the surface of the earth. That is why carbon dioxide is regarded as one of the greenhouse gases. It absorbs the greenhouse, the radiant energy, the infrared radiation, and instead of allowing it to return back to the space, the carbon dioxide acts as a shield and absorbs this radiant energy and equally redirect it back, instead of absorbing it and keeping it, redirect it back to the surface of the earth, whereby the earth now, the temperature of the earth increases as a result of this radiating of the radiant energy, radiating it back to the surface of the earth, thereby increasing the atmospheric temperature. When the atmospheric temperature is increased, when there is warm atmospheric temperature based on temperature variation, it will lead to global warming. It will lead to climatic changes. So based on that, we classify carbon dioxide as one of the greenhouse gases. The presence, as I've earlier mentioned, the presence of this gas in the atmosphere keeps some of the radiant energy received by the earth from being returned to space, thus producing greenhouse effect. The effect of greenhouse, because of the carbon dioxide does not allow the radiant energy to return back to the space where it was coming from. It retain it and re-emit it back to the surface of the earth. It constitutes what is called the greenhouse effect. So I have said it over and over to understand, because this is the summary of what I'm trying to explain. So industrially, it is recovered for various device application. Carbon dioxide is equally used for various device application, as I've earlier said. So from flue gases as a byproduct of preparation of hydrocarbon, hydrogen for synthesis of ammonia. So from lignins, and from other sources. So there are other sources in which carbon dioxide is being emitted into the atmosphere. So basically, carbon dioxide apart from the fossil fuel, which reduces the highest amount of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, the agriculture, the deforestation in agriculture, the clearing of the forest for human use, which is caused by human activities. Some of these, in fact, the summary, greenhouse gases, the activities of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere is caused by human factors, by human activities. That is just the truth. If you look at it, the fossil fuel, the hydrocarbon exploration, the fossil fuel, what we call the fractional distillation of fossil fuel. This crude oil is a mixture. The crude oil is a mixture. During the process of separation by heating, by temperature variation, gases are being emitted into the atmosphere, which carbon dioxide is one of the gases, like methane, like propane, mention them, even H2S, all the gases that have been emitted, nitrogen, mention a whole lot of gases being emitted into the atmosphere as a result of fractional distillation. So apart from fossil fuel that emit the highest volume of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, deforestation is equally the second largest emission of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. It emits a very high volume of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere through the process, the agriculture, through the process of deforestation. That's the clearing of the forest for either for commercial uses, for animal husbandry, for urbanization, for one reason or the other. There is a continuous process of deforestation for urbanization and for other economic purposes, which human beings equally benefit. So this process equally affects the atmosphere as a result of emission of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So as I've rightly pointed, there are other sources in which carbon dioxide is being emitted into the atmosphere. One of the sources is by coal. As I've told you, petroleum products is not the only hydrocarbon products we have. Petroleum product is not only the byproduct of hydrocarbon products. It's not even only the hydrocarbon products we have. We have coal, we have the natural gas. These are the three types of hydrocarbon. You see, so from the petroleum product, they did a lot of survey or experiment or scientific experiment. So below, they found out some volume of carbon being emitted into atmosphere. You see, if you look at the emitted from the products of carbon, which they have discovered about 293.1 kilowatts, which is equal to a million British thermal units of energy from various hydrocarbon fuels. They discovered that in coal, the anthracite coal is emits about 104 grams of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Bituminous coal emits about 93.5 grams of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Lignite coal emits about 97.9 kilograms of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Equally, subterraneous coal equally emits about 97.4 kilograms of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Even petroleum products equally emit very high kilogram of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, like the diesel emits about 73.2 kilogram of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Gasoline emits about 71.5 kilogram of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Propane equally emits about 63.2 kilogram of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Even natural gas, which is one of the products of hydrocarbon, emits about 53.2 grams of kilograms of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. So a whole lot of substances emit carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is not only the substances that are being emitted to the atmosphere as a result of fractional distillation, but we are concentrating on the greenhouse gases. That's why I'm specifically discussing carbon dioxide. There are other substances that have been emitted during the process of fractional distillation of hydrocarbon, of crude oil, in the industry. The nitrogen is being emitted, and nitrogen is a very hazardous gas in the atmosphere, very hazardous, and oxygen is being emitted. Mention them. Hydrogen is being emitted, a whole lot of substances. Even during this separation, H2S is being emitted, hydrogen sulfide is being emitted into the atmosphere. H2S is very harmful to human existence. Even during exploration, during flaring of gas in the oil industry, H2S is so present that
that we equally wear dawn masks to ensure that we are not harmfully affected by this corrosive substance called H2S. So H2S is equally emitted into the atmosphere, and a whole lot of like methane, butane, propane, all the substances, a whole lot of organic substances are being emitted. So natural gases are being emitted into the atmosphere as a result of fractional distillation, as a result of flaring of gas in the oil industry, as a result of what they say, quick on-site analysis of this hydrocarbon. You see substances have been oxygen, carbon dioxide, H2S, mention them, propane, butane, a whole lot of gases that have been emitted into the atmosphere that cause harm to human existence and pollute the atmosphere and cause harm to the environment, cause harm to other living organisms that benefit from the earth. So when the atmosphere is polluted, it causes respiratory problems. Human beings, not only human beings, other organisms that aerobic organisms that depend on the oxygen. All these organisms are being affected because of the pollution of the atmosphere. Some of the organisms that depend on the hydrocarbon equally, like the plants, the hydrocarbon is being that depends on the carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is being converted equally polluted with carbon monoxide, which is harmful to living organisms and respiratory problems to human beings, respiratory problems to other living organisms that benefit from the oxygen, because oxygen is being polluted in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is being burnt and converted into carbon monoxide through the fossil, through the diesel usage as a result of byproduct of carbon dioxide, byproduct of hydrocarbon, like the diesel, the gasoline used by vehicles, diesel used by vehicles and engines. When the diesel reacts with the engine mechanically, you see there is a conversion process. Carbon monoxide is released, sulfur is released. All these substances will react in the atmosphere. They react and form sulfuric acid, nitric acid, nitrogen will react with oxygen and it will form nitric acid and all that in the atmosphere. Hydrogen and other substances that are in the atmosphere that constitute harm to human existence. But we are talking about the emission of one of the greenhouse gases called the carbon dioxide. But as a result of this fractional distillation, the activities of the oil industry, all these chemical substances, all these gases are being emitted into the atmosphere. And when they mix, like as I said, nitric acid, when they cause acid rain, when it falls to the earth, it affects the human existence. It affects almost all the living organisms, all the bio life is being affected. Anything bio is being affected. There is no exemption. As far as you take oxygen or you take carbon dioxide, as far as you take and you breathe, you have respiration. As far as there is photosynthesis, as far as there is, I just mentioned it, even the roof of our buildings, the outer part of our buildings are being affected. All the organisms are affected. So that is the effect of this greenhouse gas, the carbon dioxide. That is there from the hydrocarbon, from the oil industry, through deforestation, from the manufacturing industry. They emit a whole lot of gases, like the minor greenhouse gases, like what the gas we call the chlorofluoride carbons. The chlorofluoride carbons, the CFCs, have been emitted into the atmosphere through refrigeration. These substances that cool the room, the freezer, the ACs that we're using. But there is improvement in the AC, don't mind me, because they are using hydrofluorocarbon in AC now. That hydrofluorochloride, hydrofluorocarbon does not
constitute harm to the atmosphere. What constitutes harm is chlorofluorocarbons. Chlorofluorocarbons is one of the CFC gases that constitute harm to human existence. It destroys the ozone layer. The ultraviolet rays of the sun come directly, the ultraviolet rays of the sun, as a result of the depletion of ozone layer. When these gases are being emitted into the atmosphere, ozone layer prevents, ozone layer, you think that it's a special something that is out of the space. It's just within the atmosphere. It's 3 molecules of oxygen. Oxygen reacted and give away one molecule, and later reacted again and form another. The oxygen that is being given away from the bonds now reacted again with the oxygen and formed 3 molecules of oxygen. That is the ozone layer, and formed a very thick layer that prevents the dangerous rays of the sun from penetrating, ultraviolet rays of the sun that will kill you directly, and that will cause cancer, that will cause all types of health issues to you. The ozone layer prevents it from getting to you. Now, what we're saying is that substances that you are using, they are causing harm to human existence. Because this ozone layer is being depleted. It's been gradually, the substances are piercing, penetrating, destroying the thickness of the ozone layer, trying to give direct contact with radiation, with the ultraviolet rays of the sun. So not even some of these gases that are produced in the oil industry or agricultural industry. There are substances that are produced by manufacturing industries, like these CFCs. So we should be very careful on how we cause global changes, because it's directly affecting us. The health issues is high. I went to hospital. The number of people that are suffering from respiratory problems are alarming. Even the public are not being sensitized. The motorists are not being sensitized. Those who are using vehicles, those who are using engines, machines that use the byproduct of hydrocarbon, like the machine that uses gasoline and diesel. The people don't even know. If you go to the park and they don't even ask them what is the effect of this gasoline you are using. Even the filling stations, where the gasoline stations where they sell it, the sellers, the owners do not know the adverse effect of this gasoline. They do not know, probably don't know. Even some of them, there will be leaks from their connections. They don't care. They don't send it for fixing, because they do not even know the hazard it is constituting to the atmosphere. They do not know the hazard it is constituting to human existence. So as a result of that, human beings are being affected. I'm sorry, human beings are being affected. So human beings are being affected as a result of this radiant energy that is getting directly to us. It is causing the skin cancer, it is causing respiratory problems, it's causing a whole lot of diseases that we can't even our buildings are being affected as a result of nitric acid. As I'm discussing, carbon dioxide. When carbon dioxide goes to the atmosphere, it will cause global warming, and because it is re-radiating the energy back to the surface of the earth. In the infrared radiation is being re-radiated back to the surface, keep on re-radiating back to the surface of the earth. As I've earlier said, the sources of carbon dioxide is not only from fossil fuel, is equally from agriculture, and summary from other sources. We get the carbon dioxide, but in summary, nature has its way of controlling things. The forest. That's why we are begging, we are praying, we are requesting that there should be a reduction of deforestation. because the carbon dioxide is being used by plants, by green plants. So imagine the acre of green plants within my area here. The carbon dioxide is being consumed, though during photosynthesis it releases some little amount back, but majorly consume carbon. The plants consume carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. The chlorophyll, convert this carbon dioxide to sugar for plant use, and this conversion, equally oxygen is released to the atmosphere. So carbon dioxide is released and sugar is used, as a result of conversion of carbohydrates, into sugar. So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is that carbon dioxide is very, very important. It's useful to the plant. Plant use carbon dioxide as we produce it from the oil industry. The carbon dioxide is reused again. It's being taken, it's being consumed, but it's being consumed as they emit. The energy is the carbon dioxide is being emitted into atmosphere. The radiant energy, the heat, and the breeze, air will carry it to the biosphere where the plants exist. So it will be used by not all, some will be used, some volume will be used by plants. So nature has its way of trying to equalize things, but equally human beings now, the oil industry are doing what is called decarbonization, the process of removing carbon from the atmosphere. That's very good. There is a company, one of the oil producing companies in the world called Aramco. They flagged up that the process of decarbonization. So, and other companies that are doing so many massively. And I observed that well test have gone into another greenhouse renewable energy called geothermal well test. So, geothermal energy is, what I mean by geothermal energy is as a result of temperature variation in the earth crust. The earth is the earth crust is heated because of temperature, because of pressure, and trapped some significant amount of heat in the earth crust. The earth crust is always warm because of temperature variation. This substance, this water that is trapped, this energy that is trapped as a result of heat from the earth crust, is called the thermal energy. This thermal energy is renewable. It's renewable energy. It's not like the fossil fuel that is not renewable. Why fossil fuel is not renewable is because of the long years processes of formation. It takes millions of years for crude oil to form. This process takes a whole lot of years, millions of years. So it cannot call this kind of process, you cannot classify it as renewable energy. It's not a renewable energy. So fossil fuel cannot be classified because of the millions of years, the processes in which it is formed. It undergoes a whole lot of processes. Sometimes there are about 1 kilometer below, within less than 1 kilometer, the petroleum and the petroleum is not formed, because of volatile gases like methane and propane and equally butane will form, and it will escape, it will evaporate, it will just emit to the atmosphere. So the formation of crude oil is based on depth, is based on the pressure, and it's based on temperature. So it is crude oil, as I earlier said, it's done in the shell and beneath the ground, and the rock material, sedimentary rock, igneous rock, and other rock, like those salt rocks. A lot of rocks that exist beneath the earth, within the earth crust. So these substances, when these animals are decayed, the animal decayed from the surface, like the marine organisms that decay in the hydrosphere, and the sea. They undergo years, millions of years, and they form, the decomposition react with kerosene, and kerosene is formed As a result of that, and a whole lot of catalyzation, genesis, and a whole lot of processes that this organism undergo, and they form hydrocarbon. So, and beneath the hydrocarbon, this the hydrocarbon passes from one state to another. The carrier from where it is from the shell to the carrier and to the reservoir where it's been explored, as a result of the formation of the hydrocarbon. A whole lot of marine organisms decay, and terrestrial organisms, animals decay, and they form this hydrocarbon. It takes a whole lot of years for this hydrocarbon to form. That is why it is called a fossil fuel. It's not just formed within few years interval, it takes millions of years, and it is found in beneath the rock, like the sedimentary rock, the igneous rock, and even the soft rock. There are a lot of other processes that give way for the formation of hydrocarbon. So this hydrocarbon takes a whole lot of years before it is formed. So I'm saying that it takes a whole lot of processes, a whole lot of years for hydrocarbon to form. So the formation of this hydrocarbon is equally useful to us, but we're talking about the adverse effect of hydrocarbon formation and the extraction of hydrocarbon. Equally, the exploration of hydrocarbon from the soil, a lot of gases escape to the atmosphere. During the fractional distillation, a lot of gases escape to the atmosphere, causing more harms to human existence. As I earlier pointed out, I vividly explained how this fractional distillation by temperature variation, how they are formed, how gases are being emitted into the atmosphere, and equally through mining of coals. Carbon dioxide is being released into the atmosphere. Even deforestation, carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere. So all these substances, all this emission of chemical substances from human activities have constituted global warming, have really affected the globe, have really constituted what we call climate change. As these substances are reacting in the atmosphere, they are causing climate changes, from one state to another. Climate change is is caused as a result of variation of atmospheric temperature. The temperature changes from one state to another. It's the change in a given atmospheric temperature is called a climate change. Within a period of time, like from the 2 years above and all that to up to millions of years. The atmosphere keep on changing, temperature variation keep on changing, and some of these changes negatively affecting human existence. That's what we mean by climate change. When the change in atmosphere negatively affect human existence, affect organisms, affect the existence of life, as they affect our existence, it's a negative climate change. So we don't want that negative climate change as a result of human activities. All these activities are caused by human beings, like the deforestation, that is the second largest carbon dioxide emission. Like the first emission of carbon dioxide is the exploration of petroleum products and the crude oil, and the process in which this crude oil is being separated, into various components, into various fractions of natural substances, and are being formed based on temperature variation. If they heat it, they subject the crude oil, the hydrocarbon, into heat. That is what we call the fractional distillation. The denser and the lighter substance will evaporate, will escape, will separate. So the process of separating it by application of heat is called fractional distillation. Is being removed in fractions according to temperature of the substance. The gasoline, the diesel, mention them, butane, propane, even Some of the gases we do not need, the H2S, all of them escape. When they are when they are trapped into this massive fractional distillation cylinder, or the process, the equipment in which they conduct this fractional distillation and subject this crude oil, this hydrocarbon, into heat, and there are a lot of substances that escape into the atmosphere. So the summary of what I'm saying is a hydrocarbon, in summary, constitutes the emission of hydrocarbon cause global warming, cause climate change. So we should have it in mind and begin to think on how to reduce the emission of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere to save life. Let's save the world. Thank you. Save the world. Save the world. Thank you.